We live in an age of total visibility. Satellites in orbit can read a license plate from space, mapping virtually every square inch of the globe and leaving almost nothing hidden from view. But if you look closely at the Indian Ocean, far off the coast of the subcontinent, you will find a massive geographic exception. This is North Sentinel Island. It is a dense, forested speck of land defined entirely by silence. There are no cameras, no cell towers, and absolutely no contact with the outside world. While the rest of the planet is hyper-connected, the borders of this island are strictly sealed off. Outsiders are entirely forbidden from stepping foot on its shores. It creates a striking paradox. We possess the technology to observe the island perfectly from above, yet it remains our ultimate blind spot down on the surface, a place we can look at but cannot touch. The island's isolation is not a passive accident of geography. It is actively enforced by the people who live there, the Sentinelese. They are an entirely self-reliant society of hunter-gatherers, depending strictly on the resources of their forest and the surrounding reef to survive. And for generations, they have maintained a rigid, uncompromising policy toward the outside world: complete rejection. When colonial explorers first navigated these waters to chart the territory, they were met with immediate hostility. Decades later, anthropologists and researchers arrived on boats, bringing gifts and attempting to force contact for academic study. Eventually, curious travelers and trespassers tried to approach the shoreline, driven by the novelty of reaching an untouched land. The response to all three groups was identical. Arrows were fired, boats were driven away. No one was ever welcomed, and some who got too close never returned. The lack of contact is a deliberate, highly effective defense strategy. The Sentinelese have built a human wall, successfully repelling any attempt at modern integration. Faced with this unyielding resistance, the modern world eventually abandoned its attempts at outreach and opted for a total quarantine instead. The Indian government, which holds administrative jurisdiction over the region, enacted a strict zero-tolerance law. It is entirely illegal to travel to the island. This law operates as a dual shield. First, it protects the uncontacted tribe. Because of their isolation, the Sentinelese have no immunity to common modern pathogens, meaning even a brief encounter could trigger a devastating epidemic. Second, it protects the outside world from the tribe. The exclusion zone ensures that naive travelers cannot wander into the crosshairs of a lethal defensive response. The legal border is defined by a heavy naval patrol enforcing a buffer zone around the physical island. This state-sanctioned quarantine legally seals the perimeter. It takes the tribe's fierce physical resistance and backs it up with the full force of modern maritime law. Between the geographic isolation, the tribal resistance, and the legal barricade, the resulting consequence is a massive, enduring void of information. This visualization highlights the stark contrast in global demographics. While almost every human population is heavily tracked, yielding comprehensive data on demographics, language, and culture, North Sentinel Island registers as an absolute zero. We possess virtually no confirmed data on what they believe or how their society functions. We don't even know what they call themselves. And the data gap goes both ways. We have absolutely no idea how they perceive the outside world, or what they think the helicopters and ships passing in the distance actually are. Because of this total separation, they have preserved thousands of years of human survival strategies, knowledge deeply tied to their specific ecosystem that the rest of humanity has entirely forgotten. In a society trained to believe that every corner of the Earth must be documented, North Sentinel Island forces us to accept a strict limit on our curiosity. It stands as a living monument to the idea that some places, and some people, are simply not meant to be discovered.